Flat Earth British, Martin Liedtke speaking. Hiya guys, welcome back to the Great Flat Earth British think tank for another Flatterday, Splatterday show. You excited? Be excited. So, as from today, which is Saturday the 26th of September 2020 or so they say, the Welsh government, I live in Wales, has decided to lock down my city from 6 o'clock today. So I guess by the time this video goes out, I will be again on lockdown. Also Swansea and Llanelli. Now they are going to keep pulling this shit forever or for as long as they possibly can while they play for time. Okay guys, this is a depopulation. Depopulation. I'll show you through antiquity that they do this over and over again, and a few sinister little aspects that I've noticed, and some of you have too. We're going to look into depopulation, the reset of civilization in the recent past, covered up by the historical narrative. You can see straight through. Okay, if you know how to read between the lines, I will show you now how. You will see the clearer story. Okay, everybody gets killed, depopulated, and then repopulated. Okay, guys. Now, when I was 15 years of age, there were 1 billion people in this place, they say. And now there are 7 billion. So 6 billion people have arrived, apparently, in my lifetime. Admittedly, there seems to be a lot more people about, but they've concentrated people in the cities. The countryside's completely empty. It's where they live. Now, they're going to census. Census is happening in America, and they're going to censor Britain shortly. But I think they'll wait till after the wake of the next call of this, what they have predictively programmed everybody into dying in the next few months, and with something else definitely on the way. Now, this is no coinky-dink that yes, tomorrow I was, going to London. If I'd have had money, I'd have gone to London to make efforts to reach a lot of people. I think at this stage, going on what's happening everywhere, that this is some sort of trap. Okay, this is some sort of trap. I'm really got a bad feeling about it. So this would have all gone down by the time this video goes out. I guess we'll have an accurate picture of what they got in mind for us. Okay, martial law comes, guys. They can just shoot you on the street, and there'll be nobody to complain to, and it will be in their made-up rule book. Myself, personally, I'm getting really fucking pissed off with it all. I really, really am. I don't see why we have to do as we're told for a bunch of paedophilic, war criminals, guys. They just fucking don't care about any one of us. Why do we have to do it? So, in the next lockdown, I'll do as I did in the last. I will work and carry on as per normal. But they are taking food off shelves and causing restrictions. If I was to hazard a guess, I would say that they have done something to the food. Maybe to make us all sterile. Maybe to be tweaked to just affect certain aspects of people in society. Not talking pathogens, guys. I'm talking poisons. Now, the effects on a lot of people seem to be akin to altitude sickness, or maybe electromagnetic radiation. 5G, maybe. What about all of it together? Now, this is happening, guys. People need to think carefully. I can see clearly, and I know a lot of you can, that this is the good old-fashioned depopulation and repopulation of this said realm, wherever we find ourselves. And I'll show you the evidence now. So that's shit. Being locked down again, Cardiff. Scuppering a lot of people's plans, aren't they? So what we're going to look into in this post, guys, is 2 examples. And I'm going to put something forward here, guys. We've been thinking of it for a while, but I definitely think it's a thing. Now, allow me to elaborate. In the expositions, okay, we're going to look at 2 examples, San Francisco and Paris, okay, of the 1870s, one of the really early ones. And what you find is they are halls with exhibits, some with people's clothes, some with loads of shoes. So what did they make loads of shoes just to be exhibited and never purchased? I think we're looking at spoils. I think we're looking at spoils of the previous occupants, is what I think. Same way as after 9/11 or Hiroshima, or after apparently, the Holocaust happening. If you go and visit Auschwitz, they got a museum there, which is basically a souvenir shop with loads and loads of glasses or hair or shoes of the victims. Okay, I think this is what the expositions actually were. I think they were booty. I think even the Greco-Romano feel is spoils of what's left over from the last civilization, and the repopulation of these new people all dressed in black arriving from wherever is what I think. And I'm going to show you the evidence as why as well. We're going to be thinking a lot of thoughts in this. Okay, 3 days of brain activity of Martin, so that's a lot to talk about. Bavaria, I'm going to show you some images. We've got some images coming of Bavaria, Queensland, and how that's coming along later. So the first half we will be dismantling a subject utterly, okay, of this video. The second half we're going to have some more fun to balance it, okay, so we'll have a Dickumentray for a laugh, okay. We're going to look into exquisite art, we're going to look into transparent marble, translucent marble even, and 1,000 thoughts besides. So make sure to subscribe to Flat Earth British and Flat Earth British Think Tank. I have been going live and been doing vlogs the whole week on Flat Earth British Think Tank channel, so I will link that up if you don't know about that. And we got the Celtic Tartarian channel also with 1,000 videos plus all of this subject I will share underneath the descriptions for this video. Now, allow me to get underway. Now, we're going to start here. A civilization that went before us, which was completed, had an infrastructure, free energy, beautiful architecture, and is completed and is up and running. Okay, we'll use the first example of San Francisco. Okay, now here is an image we've checked over a few times on Flat Earth British. Let me check my mics are in order. Excellent. Let me just zoom in on that motherfucker. Excuse me. So what you got here is a completely finished and not very occupied city, but you can see people further out. Now what you get here, we've looked at it a few times, it is fantastic. Nothing is being built, guys. Okay, you can see some remnants of mud from the previous, of mud flood events, and most of the buildings you will see exhibit mud flood. And you've got some sort of duck board here, maybe, I can't really tell. And Antiquitech still active at this period. And this is from 1900, okay, so this city is there. Nothing is being built. It's Tartarian, the architecture's Tartarian feel. You get a nice big Tartarian mud flood here, a bit of a Moorish feel here. A strange little thing, really out of place compared to all the mansions. And you can see the mud up here, can you? You get to, here's more mud. And there's a guy who's working with some baths. Phoenicians are into baths. Now this is a major Phoenician centre later. They sort of took over as a Phoenician port, bringing in their ways. So if I just mag in a bit further, you can see all the mud here. But the architecture is superb. These buildings been here a long time. They want you to think in the official narrative, the 1840s, 49ers, the miners, maybe a few Chinese and a few Irish managed to knock this place up, no problem whatsoever. It's all mud flooded. 50 years, a giant city to this extent. Do you buy that? You can see the Moorish influence in its churches also, or the Tartarian feel. Do you see anything being built? Do you see the Anglican church looking like an old British city? And there's the Palace Hotel in the background. You'll see that utterly destroyed in this post. And you can see here on the on this synagogue or this church, the onion domes. How old is this church? Mud flooding You can't see any people as such. There are a few down on Market Street, and a few, there's a bit of Antiquitech there. And it's a crown. Oh, it's the crown. Corona. So, mud flooded and the boards going down, all of it. So, San Francisco, amazing architecture. 1,000 clues. I'll link this image up. You can take more time to check out this panoramic, but it is absolutely fantastic. Up to City Hall, and it's just vast. Now, just move back a bit. Get a little bit time in the past. So that's 1900, around that time. Okay, 1900, turn of the century. Everything's there. Fantastic. Little time before. This is from actually 1900 as well, and you can see down on the Bay Area. Down on the Bay Area, the Cliff House Hotel. Now, this is like the architecture of this place. Turn of the century is just mind blowing to think that it was this beautiful, this advanced. I think this was an island or a land at least here, and it's broken away in an event, because this makes no sense to build this hotel over this rock with these beams holding it in place. I think it's more likely this is the remnants of land and all of this is fallen away. But Antiquitech, beautiful Tartarian hotel, and that could be what's left of the land on sea or rocks. As you can see there, it makes no sense to build it over just nothing underneath. You can see that this would have been land here, or this would have been inland. But a beautiful example, as you can see. Pull that up. The city is very much up and running. This is Market Street, which we've witnessed loads on Flatterday being decimated 6 years after these photographs. So nothing being built, all in place, all in 50 years, giant city and skyscrapers when Queen Victoria is still alive, and free energy. This has to be a free energy lamppost here outside the Palace Hotel on Market Street. This is a bit ostentatious, wouldn't you say, all of this decoration? So it's just all of that just for aesthetics. No, this has to be a device. These have to be illuminated by this Antiquitech free energy. I've just noticed something. See all of these telegraph poles? You see them? This is 1900s. They're gone by 1906 April. They must have put them underground because they're all gone, these, in the photographs of the devastation. I'll show you shortly. Phoenician statues, stealing of a civilization. There's the Palace Hotel. So Tartaria had maybe 1 trillion people. The cities were built for a lot more. This building could hold 10,000 or something. Thousands anyway. But the population at the time doesn't balance that. And these buildings are old. Antiquitech portals, technasmia technology, sound technology. Also, domes in top of the core building. Portals. So I think this is not for aesthetics and not for letting a breeze blow through. I think this was emanating some sort of sound. This Tartarian must have been Tartary must have been fantastic. So that's inside the Palace Hotel. Bit much, but it's the Phoenicians and the architecture of circuit board cities. It's feeling house on a corner. Technasmia doubt. Few people around. The tram arrived before the motor car. I find fascinating that they had electric trams before the internal combustion engine, but they never, because I spotted a little column, did I? Because we had electric cars a long time before petrol. And the bullshit petrochemical industry, coal industry, and everything they bang on about for global warming and all of their insanity, when they got free energy, and it's all just a psyop to keep the sheeple busy and keep it all spinning over. The wheels got to keep turning, you know. So there's that street again. Big Tartarian buildings, Moorish. And this with the seashells, Phoenician. So Millionaires Row, I guess. And there's the City Hall. You're going to see completely decimated. They steel all the way through this. You've got the column technology, so I'm guessing maybe blast maybe floodwaters, but they think about resets when they build these buildings. And you can see a lower level there. It's interesting. Underground. Never seen that before. So yeah, it's dirty, isn't it? Pollution. So there's no motor cars. How long's it been there? 50 years. It's got that rank already. No, this is the older world. There it is. How they got their columns there, all on horseback. Marble walkway up to a Phoenician statue. Sorry, I can't spin it. And the ferry terminal. The ferry terminal which brought all of them reset people in their black mourning clothes. Even in the hottest day of summer, they'll wear their black. That's Union Square, very beautiful. I bet that was full of people on the events of 1906. And they got an old church there in San Francisco, built in 1776. Greco-Romano, the Phoenicians, old world. In San Francisco. Now, just leading up to this time here, at this time when these photographs are taken actually, or leading up to 1906, there's an epidemic of bubonic plague in China. Some of the people, who are apparently traced, go to Hawaii and they settle in a Chinatown in Honolulu where there's up to 30,000 Chinese people. They were thought to have bubonic plague in this enclave, and it was surrounded and burnt out, killing 30,000 people is an estimate in Honolulu of the thought of bubonic plague. Some of the survivors, apparently, or people contaminated with said disease, came to Chinatown. People at Chinatown were thought to be parasitical, to be germy and plaguey, and to be kept away from in this time. Obviously all are dialectic, but I'm just saying that there is definitely a narrative with this reset of plagues. And bathhouses, big with the Phoenicians. You know what happened to the San Francisco bathhouses back in the 1980s? A sorry story. And the world that went before us. Completed and beautiful. These are resets of reset arrivals, I guess. Or maybe all these lot are dead, but they're all dressed in black. Well, they are all dead, because when you're 2020 or so they say, but what I'm trying to say is, are these the ones that were reset, or are we looking at a time deeper back? Actually, they don't even look real. It's penciled in. And these are not photographs when they have photographs. Curious thing is, 1900, the new music stand, Golden Gate Park, and the Golden Gate Park Museum here, are not part of the expositions, and they're already in situ 15 years before. Greco-Romano, all of this archage, 15 years before the Great Exposition of San Francisco. This could be the top of a church, the rest could be buried. This might be what they're doing with these monuments. They always look like the top of a church. And an old church, all ivy on it in San Francisco, giant rotunda, 1900 children's playground. So the place is there. They've even got castles, botanical gardens full of Phoenician statues, classical art, and a castle with a nice 14-pounder gun. So they got castles also. People still look wrong. So, as you can see, there was a civilization that went before us, was super fantastic. Unfortunately, when you get to 1906 April, 6 years after that beautiful this. Now, as far as the eye can see, everything is decimated, looking like looking like Hiroshima or Tokyo or Dresden or some of the cities of World War II. In fact, this fared a lot worse than Berlin in 1945, because there's still a lot of buildings there. There's no buildings left. Stone and masonry disappear in its footprint, leaving all roads empty. I'm afraid nothing came through with a bulldozer and cleared all the streets. Everything fell in its footprint. They say in the official narrative it's an earthquake following with a firestorm. If you don't know what a firestorm is, it's a hurricane of fire, hurricane winds. So yeah, 1906, and you got like just this is all skyscrapers. Queen Victoria just popped off. Yeah, everything's skyscraper. This is Tartaria. Air balloons, the old world. This is taken from the top of Nob Hill, but it seems a high elevation, so I'm suggesting a balloon. Copyright 1906. Nothing left. And what you do find as well is the trees seem to be unharmed, and the giant Greco-Romano buildings, this one's gutted but this one's in place, a little bit blackened. Trees are fine, telegraph poles are fine. Massively selective fire. So this isn't one of the many incredible images. This looks like got blast on it, blast doors. Like they overstand this type of technology can be used. Natural earthquake. Where was the tsunami? How can you use? Oh, it's the firestorm, isn't it? And it's selective firestorm because the areas completely missed it. All ties in with epidemic as well, guys. See a lot of mud floods, cellars, etc. So that wooden cabin fared all right. It didn't burn at all. San Francisco, the ruins of. What a mind blow. Can you see this up here as far as the eye can see? And there's City Hall we just looked at, complete in the rotunda. And as far as the eye can see, everything is gone. Everything is gone. Yeah, I know. So, the city's destroyed. Okay, there's hardly anything left, I guess. Market Street and all of that is in situ. A little bit not really. But they managed to rebuild the entire city, all back similar to what it was looking like here. Okay. And then they find oogles amounts of money and they build a glittering civilization, which is the Exposition. So let's take a look at some of this damage. Let me just... how long is this video? 7 minutes. Now I'm going to play this because it is very telling. I'm just going to mute my microphone a second. So it's crazy how they had the trams up and running, you know, a day later after this event, but the city is completely decimated and completely destroyed. April 1906. Wouldn't you agree? After it was this glittering, finished civilization looking fantastic. Not many people around. Then, 9 years later, they managed to rebuild the entire city and then build a glittering civilization, the Pan-Pacific International Exposition. Okay. It just seems like magic. There's obviously something else going on. So, this is a little bit of footage. Maybe I'll add a little bit of music because there's actually no audible footage, and I'm going to give you an idea of how many people arrived and how quick they got this together. Apparently. So. Just trying to add a little bit of dialogue. So this civilization is just glistening. So they built the entire city and rebuilt it all, looking like, you know, big masonry buildings, looking like they've been there a long while, and all of that out of a completely destroyed city. So this is the older world, and we're just looking at the times they tell us. This has been there before. This is the Greco-Roman architecture. They say this is built temporary. Hardly anything of what you're looking at here exists anymore. It's just rubbish. The rotunda of the art centre that still exists. A couple of little bits of what you see, but most of this is gone. And a replicating story throughout the whole of what they call Christendom. massive Phoenician theme, Greco-Romano, classical theme, if you like. The Greeks. Everyone very well turned out, but overwhelmingly black, grey, drab. But let's see the big ship, the big Phoenician ship here. So, lots of people, 9 years. Oh, and this, the ship turns into a giant fountain. I bet that feels great. And then they show you the yacht harbour, a Canadian, or excuse me, a Prime Minister or President. Or some ship visits a ship. So you know, in Great Britain, Little Britain, this island, we got a queen apparently. What happens in times of crisis, like a pandemic, which is like apparently like a world war or maybe a nuclear war in their mindset of what the masses should think, you would think that Queen Elizabeth would hit the microphone every week or so often to empower and support her flock or her subjects. They've been subjected to, but she doesn't, does she? She's done the one speech where she's like telling you a little funky story about when she was in the war, and they sent all of the children away and it was okay because they all came back one day never, which is what they're doing again now. So that was it at the beginning of all this bullshit. The Queen does one little speech and then packs up her bags and skedaddles because she can't do videos and she can't rally Britain because she's not sure, because it's busted and it's over, it's game up for them. She's gone, the elites are gone, they're all gone, they all run away because they know what's coming. We know what's coming because we already know all the answers. You don't have to look exterior to find the answers. All the answers for everything you need are already there in the water, and you're made of water. We already know. So yeah, they promised the victoriously fulfilled, because it's just bragging at how fantastic we are at rebuilding the entire city and an entire glittering civilization, all in a period of 9 years. I'm guessing they didn't get kicking off straight away in April 1906. It must have took a little bit of a while to get things cleaned up yet. You're going to see this, and it's electrified because Tartaria was fully electrified. The same narrative for most cities in the Western world as an exposition, boasting the same incredible architecture and exhibit halls where you can't buy shit because they're being exhibited and they are spoils of the civilization that they took before them. This. It's fantastic, isn't it? It's not like that now. It's plastic fantastic now. So yeah, the elites, they've bounced. They left us all to it, to face it. What they're doing now with the plague, or the made up plague and everything else, is something else clearly going on, guys. I still think that there is watery wickedness afoot, is what I think. So how fantastic is that? 1915. Of course, only 3 years later, the Americans will be plummeted into World War I and be getting splattered on the trenches of World War I. Check out these in their lasers. Do you see them in that domage, the lasers, or whatever they were? So yeah, super fantastic advanced for the period, wouldn't you say? So there, civilization up and running. The narrative to myself seems just completely insane. I just not buying any of it. I'm saying that either the films are switched and we're looking further back, or this is literally the spoils of a civilization and expositions, and they're rubbing our face in it and rewriting the history books. Now, you can find the same narrative for Paris, France Exposition as a second example. They had one of the earliest, is 1867. Now, they in Paris have built a great glistening civilization, the first exposition, guys, not the one later that you see on the Rhine, and it is the same. It is shops or exhibits, some with shoes, these with fine wear, The people look in the window and they do not buy any of it. It's spoils. They're showing you stuff of the survivors, or stuff of the people, and look at the technology they left us, and Tartar tech. And they built this massive exposition hall. Now this is the question, or just to show you how this shit cannot happen. In 1867 they've got this exposition up and running, beautiful, in Paris. Okay, right. Yet in the photographic records they show you that in 1871 there's a war. There's the Franco-Prussian War, which decimates Paris. So does it completely miss all of the exposition? They're supposed to be up and running all through this period, or does it just close up? Because the thing is, the population of Paris in the official narrative during the war with the communards, etc., was reduced because of a siege to eating rats, mice and cats and dogs, the people of this city in the Franco-Prussian War of 1871. Yet they managed to rebuild, touch up what looks like a battled, reset civilization. Not in that example, but beautiful architecture in that example, and rebuilt it all and built a second exposition in time for the turn of the century, where you witness the Eiffel Tower and all of those beautiful buildings along the Seine. And this is the state of Paris at the same time, because they've got a war going on. Pretty destroyed and apocalyptic in the centre of Paris, wouldn't you say? Yeah, it's a crazy narrative, isn't it? So, but don't worry about it, because in no time at all they completely rebuilt this city, and Hotel de Ville. Not, they didn't do that up, but look at it there. There's it before, and there's it after. Pretty serious event, guys. And they're saying canons and conventionals of the time. I'm thinking something completely different. Look at this burnage, meltage here. And what is that? Completely destroyed. Or really severely damaged, at least. Bunko booth. Wouldn't you agree? Okay. So yeah, same with San Francisco. They managed to build everything in no time at all. Let me just show you a bit of footage of beautiful Paris. This is a stunning bit of footage that I've collected over time, and it will show you what the place is like only 20 odd years later. This is the 1890s. It's best just mute my mic because there is sound on this. So, up and running and glittering, and a second civilization or exposition, as you witnessed with the Eiffel Tower. I don't trust the photos of it being built. I think it's leftover free tech, some sort of antenna from, or it was going to be a wireless antenna, but I mean free energy antenna from the days of Tartaria. So this is the first exposition, and I definitely think we're looking at spoils of crossover classical will, what was remaining after the apocalyptic event, and stolen technology. So inside this giant place here, you know, so early to have such a futuristic looking building, is full of these exhibits, and you can't buy nothing. Some of them are shoes, some of them are hats, happy hats, just like what you get in Auschwitz when you visit the remnants of their said victims. But in this case, oh, look at that, giant heads. The spoils of a stolen civilization. And it even looks like Now I Look, and the way the Phoenicians think and you know, conduct themselves. This is definitely something that they would do. Rub your face in it. But these new arrivals are being indoctrinated. They are highly brainwashed, same as the people of today, and highly mind controlled. None of us are outside of the mind control. We've been brought up with it since we could first year words, Phoenician words, spells. So this book will be linked up, and we'll go through it all because we need to move on. So first narrative is the two cities of San Francisco, parallels as well with Paris, and many other cities that they don't make any sense for their arrival, although Europe is a lot later for the American cities, admittedly, but destruction of said city, and then it's all up and running in a new exposition. I'm saying that the civilization, or Tartaria, was reset, and the Phoenician paradigm and the new people, the arrivals, are witnessing or looking at exhibits of souvenirs. Tartary. Now, that's the first part of this Dickumentray. Next will be loads of shares, loads of pics, and loads of ideas, and loads of fun. So get your happy hat, okay, and anything you require for Saturday happiness. And now we're going to look at what they look like in Tartaria. Now, Genghis Khan apparently, in the official narrative, had a bit of a thing for depopulation. Apparently, there was too many people on the steppe, or so they say, like 1 million, trillion. So he killed a few few 100 million, or who even knows, tens of millions in official narrative, and so basically giving loads of space and land and opportunities to fewer people around. So that even in that narrative there's a depopulation, whether or not you can trust it. I've been watching a program. Watched it years ago, and it's from 2006, and it's called Utopia. British made program, beautifully made, and it's about an epidemic, and it's more about a flu epidemic. The company that make it are called Corona. This is made in 2006, and they say that they basically making humans sterile to depopulate 95% of Earth's population. I would say that there was trillions before. I would say that this has happened over and over again, nothing new under the sun. So these are the tapestries or the materials used in Tartary, guys. They had some beautiful quality tapestries, and they liked a bit of antiquitech on their clothes. But I see a lot of overlaps with other types of styles, like Inca maybe. But like this one up here, for example. And people, oh, excuse me, up there. Very, very futuristic looking. Angels with wings. So yeah, tapestries of the Tartarian peoples. They had some fantastic taste. Look at these with little devices in their hands. Huh. People again, triangles. Something looking circuit boardy. Beautiful Persian style, I guess. So, nice little glimpse into Tartaria. Oh. So I'm guessing this is more your city of Russia, in Moscow maybe, because it got like industry and buildings, like mills, antiquitech buildings. So, and the Imperial Eagle. So yeah, we're gonna witness history this next week or so coming, guys. History's happening in the making. I'm gonna witness the fall of an empire, the changing of rulers, the changing of a paradigm. A lot of shit is coming down, but everybody is going to have to wake up. This is our last shot. Don't think they can reset us, and I think this is when we win. I don't think, I know this is it. Just have to follow it. The universe will take us there. We don't know the destination, but the universe is definitely taking us somewhere. Feel it. And it's a good place. Oh, look at them. Imagine them on your head. Really nice, colourful stuff. That's happy hats, guys. That's happy hats. Tartar style. So yeah, really funky, warm, silky clothes. So they had it going on, didn't they? Yes, I think I'd like to wear Tartarian sort of clothes. The ones today are absolutely poo. Mind you, I'm just a jeans and t-shirt man myself, but I wouldn't mind a shirt with all of this colour on. I like colourful shirts after all. So, just to share for you, we're moving along. This is an interesting little clueage. Apparently, this is Tartarian buildings in obviously America, built mostly active 1880s, 1890s. This is about an architect. Now, they're wanting you to think that in Fairfield, 21 Fairfield, is this New York City? Well, I'll give you the link for this anyway. His name's Albert Levy. Anyway, so this one has no windows. It's mud flooded, and there's a few bricks outside, and there's no windows, giving it the impression that this thing's just been built. Look at the size of these in the background. Old railings, rustic, concrete. So they put the park there and the railings, which are looking old, before this elevation. What was year before? So I think this is more than likely the touch-up cut on film when they add all of this bit. New roof, bit brickwork, nothing on the road just. It's only a small amount of shit to build that massive build. Next door is looking like it's been occupied for a while. So there it is, corner building complete. Or is this just an imitation and actually built that time, and the next ones will look decidedly older, were there already just to fit? Oh, that's definitely a lot older. It's all rustic. A few trees, but mud flooded. Look at the size of this older world. Beautiful HD pictures. Look. Bricks. That one's got it barred up. There's bars on that window. It's going to show that these lower basements are not a bloody good idea. So, food for thought on that. And we're going to be moving on. Let me just check my mics are in order. Absolutely stonking. So, this is a cool map. We do love a good map on Flat Earth British. And this is London at the end of the 19th century, and it's fantastic. Notice a lot of circuses, because this is basically on the circuit board city, as in circus, circle, and they have an obelisk in the middle, and they have, like, you know, St George's Circus, Piccadilly Circus, and it would appear that all of these lead on to other circuses. This was a major circuit board city when you examine how many circuses and how many focal points. So Hyde Park Corner here, look guys, 100 years ago, Ashley House there. You can see the monument that is Marble Arch. This is Speaker's Corner right by here where we all meet. Oh no, done by here, long drive by here. For Speaker's Corner in London, which I went to recently. I walked from up here, Paddington, you know, down to there. Anyway, so it's not far from Buckingham Palace, which is there, St James's Park. The Houses of Parliament, which they say are built in the 1860s because they burned down the originals. Just a replicating story. So fantastic little mappage. Plenty of circuses, plenty of antiquitech devices. Churches, if you want. And there's the major one. See all the circuses? Circuit. Circuses is circuit. So yeah, I'll share that. You can examine it closely and do your own scrutiny a bit later. Now, this is an interesting book I'm going to share with you. Basically, there's other ideas for what is going to be going on, what is going on in this book, and apparently through history this has been the case. Changing air or bad air. Give you ideas of medicines and cures as well. Okay, so atmospherical origin of epidemic, disorders of health, and of its relation to the predominant constitutional causes. I can't even fucking say that. Exemplified by historical notices and cases of pestilential continued, and intermittent fevers, headaches, and numerous forms of nervous and dyspeptic, as well as local diseases not usually considered to be having any atmospherical origin. So something is in the air that's causing all these illnesses. Changes in the air, what could bring them? Comets. And by dietary, regularity, and simple medicines, they tell you how you can heal yourself. And it's from 1829, so it's quite early, and it gives you the ideas of what is exactly just another idea for health problems or disease coming from bad air, miasma, or atmospheric conditions, from changing air, from us changing it, changing the realm we are in, changing. So interesting, I guess it's going to fit in with all of the bullshit that's going down now. Now, a new and happy subject. This is classical art section and exquisiteness. Okay, now we need some exquisiteness to go with it. Okay. So we look into a lot of this art a lot of the time, and marble is just something that's absolutely fascinating. This person who wrote this article has no idea of how it's made, but they're just wondering how fantastic it is. Exquisite 19th century sculpture cloaked in translucent marble veil. Apparently made in the 1850s, but marble, translucent. For millennium, sculptors have worked in marble, a medium favoured for its softness and translucence. Is that so? These characteristics make metamorphic rock particularly suited for pieces requiring intricate detail, including anatomical subtleties and flowing drapery. Now, we notice the flowing drapery a lot, don't we, guys? Okay, don't go into the just saying that the marble can allow you to do this translucency. I think it's some other technology. So this guy is supposed to have made this Streza in 1850s whilst working at home, or so they say. So let's have a look at some examples of cool art, shall we, in the way of Greco-Romano art. Now, I made a bit of a discovery. I'm just going to freak some of you fellas out that are watching, because I put a thumbnail up a couple of weeks ago of a Greco-Romano or a Phoenician laying on a couch, and you were all in my community pages going, "Cool, that's nice, isn't it, Matt?" Yeah, right. Well, you're in for the shock, guys. So, because of its softness and its translucency and this attention to detail, is apparently a characteristic of a great artist. So, juggage. There is always seems, don't laugh, that's childish. There always seems to be jugs hanging out with the Phoenicians. But this Phoenician is a woman, looks like a woman. She's got a pair of jugs and got a little willy. Stiffy. So what's going on is, I think that a lot of these Phoenicians are actually hermaphrodite. This would be like the Janus idea, the Janus that is two faces. And also in this epidemic program, the disease, or whatever it was called Janus, that wiped out humanity. So I'm thinking that a lot of these Phoenicians are actually hermaphrodites. Can't see two exhibited there. But something like, wee, bit weird, isn't it? Stop laughing, that's childish. So the famous Phoenician painting turned into a figurine, Phoenician rising from the shell, because they're shellfish bastards. Bacchus. And I showed this a week or two ago. I'm guessing it's a bronze, but translucent. And it's the same thing with the flowing material captured. Same here. This is not a human being, this is actually a statue. Although it looks like a photograph, doesn't it? But a statue nevertheless, as you can see. Incredible. That was what you were looking at last week, guys, saying, "Cool, Matt, she's a bit of alright, isn't she?" Apparently not, because she has sleeping hermaphrodite showing the female top as well as the male sides on her bottom. So this has got a dick and it's an hermaphrodite. I think the Phoenicians are, I think it's part of their agenda as well, with the population, what they're doing, whoever's going to be left. So flawless art, beautiful art. So I'm guessing this is not the Gorgon, but the same thing, the flowing material, but always the jug sort of just hanging out. This one's an early statue. They say thousands of years old because it's the Greeks. Here we have again, pinching of skin. So quite fascinating how the artist can get, like the sculpture can get veins in, It's almost as if these people have been solidified at that moment. Human. It's got dirt in its nails. I can't imagine how the human mind can even do this stuff, but there you go. It's absolutely fantastic stuff. Yeah. So she's like, woohoo, check me out. Yeah, woman or man? Yeah, I know. I know it's strangely small. We're going to look into the aspects of why. Look, this guy, dickhead. Dickhead. Yeah. So I'm guessing this comes up a lot in Flat Earth British. Look at that though, marble. How they do that, beautiful. Is what's going on with the Greek statuettes, or the classical statuettes, the male ones, and why haven't they got, like, basically, to not put a finer point on it, a dong or a willy as such? They've got these little tiny willies. So there is a narrative put out there of why this is the case. So don't be going all, whoa, look at that, because guys, it might be a dude, and it probably is. Yeah, I know. You need to mop your minds out for a start off. So that's nice. Ugh. Oh, woe is me. Not sure what that is. Bleak. So it seems to be an overwhelming apocalyptic death theme with the Phoenicians, don't they? They're crazy. It's a bit like Nazi art. You know, when the Nazis were in power, they would only approve Nazi art, so it's like weird classical stuff, Phoenician stuff, really. I don't know, but it's just a beautiful art piece. They say one of the finest ever created on the link. Out of the water. Phoenicians, information. Divine. And this is supposed to be also a medieval piece, but one of the best, they say, available for its antiquity and age. Again, with the flowing garments. Again, with the flowing garments. This is what I would say is an apocalypse survivor. Let me just stop my music a little bit, excuse me. Sorry to do that. An apocalypse survivor. I'm just hoping it's not annoying. And he survived the events of the apocalypse. Piece of marble. Human form. Flawless. Female human form. So there you are. Pick today is Benini, or so they say. And this is what you were lusting after in my community page, fellas, back a couple of weeks ago. Feel shame on yourselves. It's got a knob. I know. Chronophones, pair of tweezers, something for scraping out your brain matter. Wow. Just crazy. Why all that attention? It's just prowess. Something else going on. It's probably to do with that cloth they put over it. Helps with the solidification process. There could be a person under there. Phoenicians. Maybe they come to life. Maybe they're kept in stasis that way. So lifelike. The hair, look at it. So he got that, carved that stone, the hair, the curls, and then translucent marble over the top. Sorry, my head's not getting it at all. It's a mind-blowing thing, though. The intricacy. Detail. They're completely nuts. But it is beautiful stuff. So there's another Phoenician, I'm guessing this is Caesar, but look at the two marbles. All of this is marble, by the way, the materials made of marble, not material. It's just mind-blowing. afraid I'm not sure. And another example. Who knew? It's what they do with Hollywood, though, isn't it? You know, apparently you're looking at, you know, I was gutted to hear about Megan Fox, and I'm not believing it about Helen Bonham Carter at all. Okay, you have to prove that one. So that everyone's like lusting over them, and they're looking like actually looking at a dude, and they don't even know. Shit. Look at this. Beautiful. So, the finer side to life. We do like excellence on Flat Earth British, and class and quality. So all in the best possible taste. Okay. Why are men's penises so small in antiquity? Let's have a look at what they say. This one woman has wrote a narrative, but first let's have a look at some fun examples of antiquity's penises. Now they're not all minute. Okay, this guy is really happy. I don't know what kind of face he's got on, but he's like doing. That can't happen. All the blood would like leak out of your body and basically you'd pass out. So I don't buy it now. Classical Greek statues. Doing. Oh, this one's missing one really, but there are reasons for it, which I'm not buying any of. I just think the Phoenicians are a load of perverts. Somebody come along. This was a pair of bollocks, guys. So it would have been like a massive doing, and they chopped it off. So I don't know. This guy's like, ooh, there's a bit left on the end, or is he like, oh, I'm just polishing my bell end? It's Casus, so it is Hermes. Hermes, who knew? Doing. There's another one of these Phoenicians. Look, this is Carla Miranda. A cucaracha. Take a look at my liquor wheel. Sort of thing going on. So yeah, I know. Doing. So I don't think that's realistic. I think this king, alright, whoever he was, say, you know that statue you're making of me, Theobald? Yes, sire. Make it massive. Yes, sire. He's like, I haven't got coronavirus anymore. No. You're cured? Yes. I wanked it out. Look. That's how you get rid of viruses. Wank them out. Doing. So how do you think they get around? That must be really bad for their health. I must have a little wheelbarrow. Yeah, they got a wheelbarrow. If that's a pipe, bong, right, I wouldn't toke on that bong. At all. Would you? Doing. So they get a little bit bigger later on. So there is a narrative, okay, of why. Look at this chick. Chick with a dick. Boing. Yeah, I know. So I know you're all laughing now, like children, right? This is classical art. This is done in the best possible taste. And this is a serious historical question that has been posed on Flat Earth British for quite some time. And you will find that I'm not the only one who's been thinking this, or you lot either. Somebody else has. This woman who wrote this narrative. 10 reasons why dudage in antiquity, okay, although she goes into some 8 reasons why Asian statues have small penises. Okay, ever wondered why? She goes on a little bit, but let's get to the crux of the matter, shall we? Number 1 is virility. While we may put a premium on gigantic schlongs, it wasn't that way during the Hellenistic period, which spanned bollocks to bollocks. According to ancient scribes and online interviews and historians, men of the Greco-Romano world were often represented with smaller dinglings as a sign of virility and masculinity. Well, I think that is definitely open to debate. Okay, procreation. Now, we're not supposed to, according to Christian consciousness, to have sex outside of procreation. And what is procreation? Ain't that weird shit going down, guys, in the virtual reality? Yeah, we procreate and make other us's. Yeah, something going on with that as well. Spooky stuff. Anyway, another reason many men's sculpture during the classical period was shown with tiny ding-dongs, such as the Lucan and his sons, is because, at the time, being smallish was a sign of reproductive wisdom. In fact, throughout most of antiquity, having anything large was considered ugly and repulsive. Culturally, big men were thought to be useless buffoons. That likely isn't the case in the world where movies hold the title XXXL. That's just naughty. This woman's got bad naughty thoughts. But anyway, look at this antiquity here. That's another Dickumentray. So the sign of logic, hand in hand with wisdom and logic. At least that's how the Eastern saw things. Apparently, man had a microscopic membrane. He was considered to have a logical mind. And then she goes in space poo. So, bit of throttling going on. So muscles were important, not so much. Okay. Ooh, clouds. He wrote famous Greek playwright Anastosines, who summarised this attitude in his play Clouds. That's worth researching. Hello. Alright. So, if you do these things, I tell you, and bend your efforts to them, you will always have shining breasts, light skin, big shoulders, a minute tongue, and a big rump, and a small prick. Oh, fucking hell. Anyway, balance and beauty. So it's done as for aesthetics of balance and beauty. I'm not so sure. Emotions play a role as well. Also, they say. And mental imagery. Oh, yeah, that sounds a bit weird as well. I'm not so sure. Did you buy any of that, guys? No. I think it was just like the Phoenicians, and their weird paedophilic nature. Anyway, so that was the section Dickumentray. We learned something by this, guys. Okay, that they chopped off all of the statues and made them really little for some reason. Still clarified. Not happy with that. Okay. So some photographs to share now, guys, and some other stuff. Make sure, did you share this out? Okay, did you up your vibration? Okay, are you happy? Okay, well, I'm in a city just got locked down, pissed off about it. So yeah, these are images of Canada and the Tartarian world, as you can see, which I'm just going to share to you. I'm not going to go through them. I went on Instagram live this morning, and there was an Andrew who was from Canada who said he would like to see them. So I'm sharing them, linked up below. You'll be able to go through them. They're HD, and they're from an early period, the late 1800s of Canada. All up and running, all looking beautiful. But we have many more images to show you following this little segment. Now, if you are unaware of flat earth Britishness, okay, this is what's going on. Now, we have the Matt Liedtke channel. I worked through here. I posted only 3 days ago, Hell's Bells Antiquidad, a new field of harnessing energy, subtle energies from dead bodies, or some of the technology going on. So we also have the Celtic Tartarian channel, okay, almost the same subscribers. There's 1,000 videos on here. You can see how all of this shit got discovered and how all of this went down, guys, all on that channel there. For 5-6 years of it now. And I'm on here live, like literally all the time, and I do little extras on here every few days. The Flat Earth British Think Tank channel, so I suggest you subscribe to these channels if you want to keep up to date with what's going on Flat Earth British. And here is our website, a fantastic website. If you haven't seen it, loads of freebies on it, mind-blowing mud flood, alternative history. Okay, so there's an FEB shop, think tank, photo drop, and you can get the book, the Holy Grail of Flat Earth, through here as well. Okay, and you can support my channel and click links on there if you want to support me. And Flat Earth British Truthinisms, or Truthing, Super Truthing. And there's all our subjects: mud flood, Tartaria, firmaments, fasces, star forts, comets, technasmia, antiquitech, shapes, giants, maps, airships, word science, world fairs, resets, architecture, art, weather, aquatech, fireplaces, resources. Click that and you get thousands of books, news and activities. And my son Welsh Dragon Metals, who does metallurgy, I will link him as well. So this book basically was released last December, just gone. So I worked on it all through last year, and it's about reset, guys. It's about reset of humanity, of civilization, using electromagnetic technology such as the fasces, which you witnessed all through this post so far. Okay, Now, good news on Barbaria. If you don't know about Barbaria, I will link this to you. You can log in or sign in or register. I will approve you, and there's plenty of information going through there. It's getting quite a busy site. Now, I've got some images to show you. Somebody passed to me of Barbaria. If I can just pick them up. And it's coming along really nicely. This is Queensland Barbaria. We didn't want to show too much because we don't want to give destinations away, but there's nothing showing. So it's the start of buildings for families and some community farming projects. So this is Barbaria, Queensland, our breakaway civilization, kindly put together by Peter, who offered the land. And you can find out all about this or moving to somewhere like it in the Barbaria website. So community farming, food. Now I'm caught up in the city. I wanted to get to Barbaria, Wales, but I haven't been able to manage to do anything personally. I managed to set up everything everywhere else, but nothing here because of financial issues. But I'm caught up in the city a lot, as you are too, and the way things are going now with the lockdown and everything else. Few food shortages, and there's nowhere to get food in a urban jungle, not really. And out in the wilderness, there's food everywhere, and in this part of the world, all year long. So Barbaria is coming along beautifully, guys. Ooh, lovely. And some starts of some settlements, some log cabins going in. There's already some permanent buildings there, and some more community farming. And the start of some log cabins and some properties going up in Barbaria. Start some more. So some of the residents of Barbaria communicating with me, talking to me on Facebook and Instagram, and sending me images which I can keep you up to date with the growth of this place. So do you fancy a bit of that? Look at that wilderness. Tell you what that is? That's about 5,000 times better than where I am now in the city. So, Barbaria. Now, I'm going to come back for a minute and see you all, because I haven't. And I've been presenting like that because somebody said I was sick of seeing my mug, so I'll take it off for a bit. See me now. Anyway, happy vibration, peace and love to you all. You all happy? Okay. So yeah, I'm in lockdown, so I won't be able to go and even buy food. I have to order online at the end of the month or something. It's really weird. So I got some more images to show you, some fascinating stuff. I'm guessing this is about a 2 hour video. Anyway, and I'm going to show you some stroppy images next, some cool images of Sydney. So if you're from Australia, check these out. This is fantastic, this city at that time. Same narrative again, 50 years in situ, everything built, everything looks old, it's all been there all along. And you'll see similarities with the architecture I just showed you in San Francisco or any of these other destinations, like everywhere really. So that's coming up now. So it's been a really mental couple of weeks. I've had a really cool time the last week. Last week I was visiting north of England, did a convention, and did some historical documentaries. We hope to do some more of them, although the lockdown's just spoiled, all the fun. But it's my job. It's actually my job. This is my business, is YouTube and Flat with Britishness. So I will be required to make more documentaries. Okay, better production and better put together for your enjoyment is what I hope to do. Okay, then we're going to do some more imagery and thoughts, and I hope you enjoyed. Did you enjoy the documentary? It was fun, wasn't it? I know, I'm naughty. It's not my fault. Antiquity's weird. I know, I'm just saying. Anyway, more images of the day. So I've got loads to share with you. Images of the day. I'll show you Sydney next, which is absolutely fantastic. Free energy city. And the narrative of Sydney and Melbourne is a very late arrival. They didn't even get to the place like late 1780s, and then all of a sudden, 50 years on, everything's up and running. It's a giant civilization that looks like it's been there forever. Look at the town hall, Sydney, guys. Tell me that's not mind-blowing. Greco-Romano temples, door up in the air, because all of the bottom levels are below ground level. because of the mud that came in. Wow. You've got adaptations, but this is Tartar tech. Check these wrought iron. All of these wrought iron things, and this as well, you see at the top here, are technologies for energy gathering. Very nice. I'm guessing this little rotunda, or this little dome thing, is part of the technology. I guess there's some sort of tech in there. Look at the old English church. Oh no, it's Australia. So what a fantastic place. Built by criminals after a precarious journey of weeks and weeks at sea, and they made it there just alive. And then they basically built this giant civilization. Fantastic free energy civilization. Any wires coming off there? Yeah, there are actually. There are on that. The times 20 to 12. Greco-Romano pots, Phoenicians all on there. Do you see them? Wow. Sending their evil energies through the entire city. A stolen city. Look at this, guys. So the men are all in black and grey as usual. And you've got the tram before the car. Wow, look at this place. Look how big it is. Stuff's removed here, guys. There were statues. Probably the previous occupants. You find this everywhere in antiquity. Probably, definitely. There it is, Tartaria. They tell you all this was built in the 1800s on the discovery, but this is an older civilization. It was mud flooded, stolen, regained. Everything repurposed, reversed engineered. Find out what this shit does. Reactivating the machine. The wheels have to keep on turning. The modern cities are also activating the circuit board cities. The energy, the vibration dropped when they chopped all of the big trees down, and all of the trees, the vibration dropped. We were a lot bigger, enough to fill the size of these buildings they left for us. These people did not build these buildings. This belongs to another world. It went just before us. Matchmaker, matchmaker, make me a match, like me a light, catch me a catch. There's a big pile of shit in the street. So they can build all this massive architecture, and you have massive broad streets anticipating the car. Always these loads of flagpoles, but they're not flagpoles, there's never flags on them. And always the beautifully ornate electric light. So, I'm guessing, because this light here I'm talking about is not covered in glass the way that you'd expect. Now I'm thinking this is free energy, and I'm thinking, these two bars here may be magnetic, maybe using solar, but I think this is self-illuminating, this post, guys. Really do. There's no glass around here, and it's just all of this. So, self-illuminating street lights, I would say. There's them Phoenicians. Wow, they're really prominent on that building as well, aren't they? So these are spectacular pictures. She's dressed in white. I reckon they had handbags a lot, didn't they? In this day and age, men got handbags. Boys, they're all like man-bagging it up, baby. Alright, makes practical sense and all that, but I don't think I'll start man-bagging it up anytime soon. So look at this. Wow, you see where the mud came in that way, went down the hill. See ya? Wow. That's amazing, that one. But looking very, very similar to British cities, or Canadian, or some American. Hunter Street, Melbourne. So I'm guessing if you're from, Sydney, you'll enjoy this. Look at this giant Moorish palace. They got the same thing for, it's nearly the same style for the railway station in Melbourne as this one in Sydney. Sydney had one of the greatest tram networks, or the greatest and biggest tram network in the world at the time. A great ferry terminus for these trams, which was built on a giant starfort. Look at these holes all the way along the domes. Fantastic building. More fantastic buildingage. Happy Flatterday, everyone! Yay! You happy? Yay! Wow, look at this. George Street. This place has been your time. This is like a 1700s building. Older. Previous reset. Something's missing off the top of that, I reckon. Because that doesn't look right, does it, on top? I think something was missing on the top of that building. Whoa, and it's so juicy HD for 100 years ago plus, guys. Look at this place, it's fab. Sydney. Whoa, them criminals done a cracking job. Must have been like the building of the bridge over the River Kwai. Doo 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 doo. Let's build a civilization. Doo 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 doo. Old cobble. Oh, that one's only mud, isn't it? It's not tarmac. For these great masonry buildings with all that ornamentation. We shall move on. Wow! Alright, son! Wow, look at that church. All of the knobbly bits. Catching the subtle ethers and energies. What were these two sticking out? Flags? Wow, it's a fantastic building. Wow. Sydney got it going on. Waterloo Chambers. The watery theme. What was it? Waterloo. Battle of Waterloo. Waterloo Station. There's got to be water involved. And the loo. Weirdly. Okay. So there's Sydney. We're moving on. I'm going to show you some images of the day. Just check everything is okie dokie. And I'm not showing me instead. Okay, images of the day. I got stacks to actually show you guys. It's just the time aspect. So let's just show you some images of the day of what I've been collecting from Instagram and Facebook this week. Towards the end I will play you some cool images and a little bit of music before I cut out for this Flatterday. But I'm going to come back at the end because I'm going to have a little chat with you all about the insanity, where we're going and what we're going to be doing this week and where everything's going. And I want to shout my brother and my friend Lee, who's Flat Earth British sub, who's not here at the moment. And I'm like, where's Lee? I can't do without Lee. Lee! We'll work it out. So I'm afraid I don't know what I'm looking at. It's a bit of a crazy picture dug out chemical. Babylon. Memphis, Babylon. So it's all Babylonian destinations. Crazy little picture though. You got the Phoenicians in the water. Okay, so beautiful colorized image. Did they move then? Did you see the move? So let's have a look at this HD color. I guess you could call this post a tour through Tartary and the post-Tartarian world. This is a virtual tour of 100 to 150 years ago. And I love to time travel. That's all illuminated. What can we spot? Anything worth spotting? Except the beautiful intricate lampposts. They are really, really beautiful photographs for the time. Wow, stunning. This is apparently in Iran, and it's some sort of city, one of the oldest, and it's put on top of some sort of tree trunk. Old Star Fort, some sort of circular enclosure. Highly weird. Mud flood. Philadelphia city centre, and their great Tartarian building in the centre, which has been picked apart by our John Levy as a bullshit narrative. Look at this. Giant arches, same in Cardiff, same everywhere for giants. And some classical art. They come out of the water. They came out of the water. Everybody's going to die. Check her hair. I don't know what she's thinking. Can't work it out. So yeah, they came from the water. Bath in that. Woof. Straight out of Phoenician seashell mouth. She sells on a shisha. Shellfish bitch. And giants. See? Hello, hello. Hello, hello. You're big. Yes, your horse is very small. Yeah, but you're big. I know, you're small. So yeah, giants, they were around in the 1700s in France, or Brussels in this case, the Belgians. Oh, J6Z3, J6ZZ. So in the year of 6Z3, they're giants. Which we see a lot in Paris. In Brussels, excuse me. France. Belgium. But in France as well. Anyway, we're moving on. So the age of Tartaria was air balloons that were just moored up to skyscrapers, which were about then, and antiquitech buildings, which are churches or tops of buildings where they would just disembark. Makes perfect sense. And here's where we live. If you're looking into the flat earth, and this is the tree of life, or the tree which we are upon in many narratives, including the Norse, ice wall all around, serpent, electromagnetics, Mount Meru, glittering civilization, dome above us, the rainbow, waters above, obviously. The world tree. And how would we even know if we weren't? God's footstool. The earth is indeed flat and motionless plane. I thought it was an armchair when I first looked at it, and I thought, ooh, looks like a comfy armchair, but it's not. It's a water bathing facility. Very ostentatious, so I'm guessing if you were back a sight, glass of wine on here or there. A bit like hot tub time machine. We need some Chernobyl. If you haven't seen it, don't worry. There's another Chernobyl hot tub time machine pit on the coast. This would have been civilization melted, and this would have been maybe basement. And the witnessing of UFOs in antiquity. Okay, I am definitely a purveyor of things flying in the sky, but I don't think aliens, because basically that would need space, and there's no space. But things outside of here, or even in here with us, or as I think, interdimensional entities. So somebody sent me this of a star fort, but it's in the shape of a kidney bean. In fact, it's in the shape of a double torus. In fact, this is the place where we live in a fantastic nature, in a fort form. Fort form. Here's the Russian schematics. You can find this near Kronstadt as you come into Petersburg, St. Petersburg in Russia. Okay. And somebody sent me this. No, it was in my Instagram. Somebody linked up, and they got these all over Australia. Okay, New World Infrastructure Commission. New World Infrastructure. I think at this moment they're building an infrastructure in all of the cities and here for the future mass depopulation of humanity. 1829, guys, and it's a marker for a tunnel system. It's under there. Some guy sent me it. Check this out, mooring in you. I would love that. Tartarian it up, man. Paint there, beautiful plants, trees. Sharona. And be left alone. That's what we need. Something like that would be great. Just some interesting pictures. He looks a bit like Edgar Casey. He looks a bit like the Cock, Will Cock. But they look a fine bunch of people. I just really dig the doors. Wonder what this is for. God. We can show you. Virus 3. I guess in the German. You got a bit of the Trotskys going about him. Nice little dog. There you go, right. So this is just proving the 8 sides in the pyramid rather than the 4 of 4. You can only see this when the sun comes in a certain direction, and then it makes them appear. So the pyramid is not 4-sided, it's 8, as you can see there, there, and then it casts a shadow as well, which they thought to lead to treasure. But so it's 8-sided beaver dam technology, repurposed, and could be something else. Most of this could be buried under the mud. That could be just the top of that beautiful Tartarian building. Ah, so beautiful. So they massacred the Tartars even in recent history. Okay, 400 Tartars were killed. I've posted on the Tartarian channel about when 40,000 Tartars were killed. But this report was, is reported that 700 Armenians from a number of villages in the government of Iran attacked a Tartar village of Gaz, killing 400 Tartars and plundering and burning their property. So I'm guessing this is in the Van area of Armenia. So they just went in and ransacked the Tartar village and killed everybody, basically, guys. Okay, that's what they've been doing. Big doors, big knockers, all the way up there as well. A bit like the Wizard of Oz as well, when he opens the portal and say, "What you want?" So more Phoenicians in seashells. For aesthetic purposes only, okay? Obviously. Don't tell me that is ugly and you're averting your eyes. You're averting your eyes right now, are you? No, I'm afraid you might be telling lies to me. You're not averting your eyes at all. Avert your eyes. No, you can't, can you? Yeah, no. So this is a pond built for the Great Exposition of this place, and I will show you now that there is some antiquity involved with it earlier on. So it's from 1863, and it says the demolition of a 1779 bridge, and they replace it with another one. You can see all the original stuff deep down, and this looks like a steel here. So that is the original bridge, very deep down. Yeah, and then they replace it with this thing, ancient pond. That's the ancient one. Looks absolutely fantastic. So they demolish it and they build another one. So I'm not sure what's going on. So I guess in angels, and this angel woman, she looks like a woman. Okay, she's got fishy bits on her head. They don't wear any clothes either. Everyone's just skimping around in the past. It's really weird. What's got in his hand? Feathers. So here's Tartaria in its heyday. Absolutely beautiful. And you're inside that building. Let's check that out. Excuse me. So did you share my video? Did you like this video? I'm going to come back with some more thoughts. I'll share some more images before I shoot off for the day. Happy Flatterday to all. I will be back in a day or so, and I will be back with live feeds and reporting on all the chaos and all the insanity that is going to be coming in the next week or so. Okay, I am really fucking pissed off with all of this now. In fact, taking no prisoners, can't be bothered. I'm not, give up my life, right, all of it, just for, like, say, yeah, whatever, to a bunch of paedophiles and war criminals. Think, fuck off, I'm not doing it. I suggest you don't support them either. So here's a horny devil comes up from the water. She's got a bit of an asp. But they're in water because there's fishes swimming around, so they're actually in the water. They're watery people. The Phoenicians. The little willies. Look at this. Green god with fasciae ears. So ever seen fair fasciae ears before? Does he remind you of anyone? No, not me. Just a thought. So, Muscovating been going on quite a bit. This is Paris, and for some reason they all got these strange "I'm allergic to everything," including this pretending flower. Here's people trying to escape. This looks like 1960s. Children trying to escape, actually. Sorry, I don't know the narrative, but it seems very sinister photograph. And it looks like they're... Is that Waterman? Wow, the watery theme again. It's everywhere, isn't it? You dirty Phoenicians. Look at you. The Bacchusite, the parasite in our subconscious, locked in you with us, telling us silly shit and even trying to kill us. Two minds in this creation. The good mind, thinks up good creative, sharing, caring about others, empath. And you got the bad mind, who's in it for themselves. Greedy gain, etc. The good mind and the bad mind. Well, the bad mind is the Bacchusite, the parasite, the Phoenicians who came in here. We found a way in. It was us. Made them come into this place by conscious observation. So they held the golf tournament in America here this year, apparently. Okay, the Open. It's a big Tartarian building, but the narrative was quite interesting. Clifford Wenderhack collaborated with the course architect, okay, who was Tillinghast, when he designed the Wing-Footed Icon Club in the early 1920s, or so they say. It was designed to look as if it was rising out of the ground. Because it is rising out of the ground, because the rest is buried. And they keep doing this, okay, on all narratives. Now, I'll be back very shortly. I'm just going to play a bit of music, show a few images, and I'll be back very shortly. Okay? Okay, Pips, that's me almost for today. I hope you enjoyed the show for today, Flatterday show. I need to get on. Now it's a little summarisation of what we have learnt in this post. I'm putting it out there that I think that these expositions were repurposed, probably there already, but as the exhibit centres, I think that they were spoils of the previous civilization that was stolen. I think they are souvenirs of the past. So I hope you enjoyed the virtual tour of Tartaria and the Edwardian era, or so called. Hope you enjoyed all the images and all my thoughts. Please make sure to share this out. I will be back in a day or so. Keep an eye on Flat Earth British, keep an eye on my Instagram, keep an eye on my Facebook, everything that is ongoing. I think things are going to get a bit weird and a bit rocky very, very shortly, as I've said already. Okay, guys? Something needs to be done, as we all know, okay? This place is like psyoped to fuck. Biggest psyop ever. Anyway, see you on the next one. Keep your vibration up. Flat thumbs. You're doing flat thumb? Do your flat thumb. Makes you feel better. My feelings. Flat thumb. Peace and love. Be good. And I'll see you very, very soon.